So it's floating in cyberspace.
No problem. No problem. So first off, we have to do a informational meeting. You're familiar with this process required by Public Act 57 of 2018. Twice a year, we have to do a DDA overview of what they call a public meeting. I don't know, Kelly, if you want to kind of walk us through some of the particulars of that, we can push that along.
So basically, I just did a quick overview of some of the projects that
How are you?
and what's going on. The wayfinding project is underway. I'll talk about that more in the main
Right.
meeting, but there've been some adjustments to the signage. But yeah, wayfinding was a big one. I think we all know downtown parking is happening in a
Sure.
week or so.
Yes,
So,
it
Yep, yep.
you know, that's moving along nicely. Microphones too.
Yeah.
Not that mine's working, but, Pleasant Street Plaza, Court Place Plaza, that's in flux, since the last year of the 5-year agreement with that. With the tables and everything being out, and then the facade program wrapped up. So I don't know a whole lot about that one, but, cause I came in,
Was a winner.
it was a winner,
Yeah.
yeah.
Has there been any notification of any of the grants that have been applied for? Okay.
I've not heard anything yet.
Okay.
so, Which is weird, but everything's kind of up in the air, I think, grant wise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know that the facade grants are still open.
No,
are
the
they?
facade grants.
Oh,
are-
I meant
think-
the
grants for the Pleasant Street Plaza.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were talking
No,
about. facade
yeah,
grants.
we'll,
Gotcha.
we'll get to
Okay.
those in a minute, so. All right, any, I don't know, any public comment on that? Public comment on the information meeting? No? All right. Board comments on the information meeting? No? Okay. All right, very good. So I think we can, get a motion to adjourn that meeting. So moved, there. Yeah, second on that? Somebody, second?
Second.
All right, Tam, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Takes care of the public meeting. All right, with that, that behind us, we will proceed to our regular May 5th meeting, call that meeting to order. First off, approval of the minutes, which I think everyone's been provided with a copy of those separately from your packets. The minutes from our meeting of April 7th. Expertly prepared by Kelly. Any comments? Additions, corrections, adjustment? We got a motion to approve the minutes? Someone? Motion to
I'll move.
approve? Thank you. Second? Second on the minutes? Thank you, thank you. All right, all in favor? Aye, very good. Minutes are approved. All right, let's move ahead to the financial reports. We have on package page 3, our normal summary of activity. Hard to believe, but we are at the end of March with the financials at 75% of the fiscal year already. It's just time flies, I guess, when you're having fun. So I looked, scanned through these. I know maybe you didn't have access to it. There's nothing unusual that I see, kind of normal activity month to month. Obviously on the project side, we're waiting for the large expenditures to happen from the whole wayfinding activity and sign fabrication. Those have not happened yet. So those will really be the big numbers for this year on the project side. On the normal operating budget, we're well within the scope of our budget. So,
There was really not a lot of, I don't know if there was really any change from last month, but I do know that, because the wayfinding has been approved, the renderings have been approved, we will be getting a deposit invoice shortly.
sure,
Mm.
I would
That will
think.
Probably be on next month's.
I'm actually surprised we haven't seen some kind of billing already,
Almost
frankly,
too.
as
Yeah.
far along as they are, but That's okay. We'll hold on to our money until we need to dispense. And we'll talk more about wayfinding here in a minute. So any questions, comments on the financial reports? If not, can we get a motion to approve the financial report for this month? Thank you. Second? Yeah, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Financial report. Okay, old business. Speaking of wayfinding. All right, Kelly, why don't you give us an update on wayfinding as you see it?
So I have good news and bad news,
All
as
right,
usual.
right.
Good news is everything is approved and moving forward. Bad news is it's not gonna be in by Memorial Day like we'd originally hoped. I threw some examples of the renderings in,
Yeah.
so just so you can kind of see what we've been looking at. We had to change a couple types of signs. Originally Corbin had some signs on, some AEP poles. And we didn't think that was probably a good idea, so we had to change that. Some of the parking lot signs were only one-sided, so we changed that. So there's been, there's been some tweaks, nothing major. We are looking, hopefully end of June, so we're about a month back.
Is any of this tweaking around causing any budget problems that you can see?
No, we are within the approved amount.
Okay.
Within the amount that was approved by commission.
Okay,
We're still in phase one, so phase two, it will be a little bit higher, but we'll look at that with phase two.
okay,
And it's not a huge amount.
Okay.
But we also have an MDOT permit that we're working on for the ones along Main Street.
Yeah.
So that tends to take a little bit longer too, so.
sure.
But it's progressing. I talk to Fairmont 2 or 3 times a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
I'll bet.
So yeah, it's exciting. If you want to see the full, rendering packet, I have them in my office. So maybe I showed you that last month. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I feel like you probably did.
They're gonna be nice.
The signs are attractive, I think.
Very attractive, I
I
like
know we've looked at these in the past, but I think they're good looking.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them. I had to tweak some of the heights on some of the signs and just get everything.
Sure,
within,
sure.
The parameters.
And I know that it doesn't have anything to do with downtown parking, but business owners seeing money being invested in the downtown will go a long way to
Right.
people alleviating the fears that the city's not doing because the signs are in need of replacement. And so, but I think just image wise, not that, that it will make a difference. I
Yeah,
think people,
absolutely.
businesses will appreciate.
On the Tiscornia Beach, is it gonna say beach on the sign? Cause my recollection, it's actually not a beach, it's a park, and I'm just a stickler for like consistency with words. I know it is a beach in practice.
1,000 times or something.
Yeah,
Okay,
that will be one that I will read.
and same with Lions Park, double check that as well.
Who knew? Who knew, right? That's it, right?
That was one thing I
So-
learned. I was like, really?
And I know this has probably been discussed a million times, but shouldn't it be Tiscornia Park Beach so people know that that's an actual beach there?
There's like a reason we can't call it a beach,
Uh,
because we don't have lifeguards, so we
Oh,
can't
okay.
actually
Ah.
provide
It's all
safety.
coming back to me.
Okay.
And
Okay.
when you just Google Tiscornia, it comes up Tiscornia Park / St. Joseph.
Mhm.
I don't know that you
Ah,
need that, but it
alright.
is definitely labeled on. And maybe it makes sense that these labels match what is on Google, but it's definitely Tiscornia Park.
Okay.
All right. I did have one question. Oh, welcome special guest, City Manager Hackworth. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for dropping in. We I was looking at okay, all right, so you're gonna think this is crazy.
On the city website.
So I was looking on page 16 about the
No,
fruit
I'm
lots that we
working
have.
on that.
Mhm.
So my question was, on the sign, do we have a picture of the fruit?
We do not.
Oh,
Oh, I would like that.
I'm crushed. No, but I'll get over.
I mean.
No pickle, no.
No apple, no. All right, I'll get over it. It'll be
I
okay.
mean, it's something I could look at.
We'll just put
Well, no.
stickers on it after the
Yeah, there you
fact.
go.
A sticker, we'll put it. So,
funny.
Yeah, so, all right, very good. No, I think this is gonna be,
I mean, that's the one that we would need a picture of.
I'm gonna bring one as soon as they, because one of my staff has one in their yard. She
Oh.
told them to work on it.
Cool.
They're not very good.
No? Oh,
They're not very good.
all right.
I don't know.
All right, very good. Anything else on wayfinding signage? A very exciting activity. Those, they look very attractive.
And one thing to look
Can't
at
wait to
is
see 'em.
the,
Please.
Park department is, doing a bunch of signage for Patwa Park and a whole bunch of other things that they're doing for their signage. It's different than what we're doing, so it makes sense to.
Who is that? Who is that, Chris?
Park board.
Oh, the park board guys. Hmm.
We have Peddler Park signs.
And so do they.
Oh, boy.
We have funding for next fiscal year for, many of our park signs to be replaced to match these. So we'll double check what's going on with Padler Park. It should all work.
They're
Maybe
doing a
some
bunch
things
of other
are-
things in addition to that. They should have just had their meeting.
Ah.
Broadcasting, they're copying the things that we've already used.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not sure that they're aware.
Can you guys make sure you kind of close that loop? Because we don't want a mishmash of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
will not. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Chris.
Good, Chris, yeah.
All right, the next item, we wanted to talk a little bit about, we'll have some more discussion about this, but is the projects were in the downtown parking district as revenue becomes available after paying for the equipment and what have you. We need to be thinking about short-term and long-term goals in terms of how we might use those funds. I think everyone would probably be in agreement of, some short-term kind of wins are probably important when we have that funding available. I don't know that we need to get into all those details right now, but I'm assuming, Kelly, you're looking ultimately for, and we've done a little bit of this already, some kind of listing of ideas and projects. And I think it does break down into kind of short-term things and the, what do I want to call, longer term, grander vision, if you will, of the streetscape and, all of those kinds of good things, which are going to take obviously a little bit longer. But how best to go at this? Should we think about this and maybe provide our input? Maybe it's,
Like prioritize.
yeah, I think that might be helpful. Maybe we've kind of done this a little bit before, so we have some preliminary lists, but it's been a while since we've thought about this. So, things change over time. So maybe what we do, Kelly, is we submit to Kelly before our next meeting. And you can kind of compile that or whatever. I'm happy to too, whatever. Does that sound okay?
Is there a master list of the things we can choose from? We can kind of say what our number one,
We,
two, three.
we had some prior lists. Yeah, maybe the way to
That
do
would
this.
not me,
Yeah,
because-
that's a good point.
I
So,
think there's a really good one on the slides that will present.
yeah,
presented for
that's
free
right.
parking
That's
about
right.
Stuff we could do with the revenue.
Right.
One of the slides is a list of
Yeah.
projects.
Let's, Kelly, maybe you can circulate those. I'm gonna look too, because I think we've put things like this together previously. And maybe you can circulate that around and we can come back to you with our priorities.
The other thing I would be interested in learning, as you compile the list, is what are items that are, beyond repair, perhaps a safety issue. Something that is always on my mind are the light posts on. I've seen one go over when a car hit it. I've seen another one go over in high winds. And to me, it's like really a safety issue. So I think that should be part of the discussion as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, fair. Somebody,
Yeah. I
yeah,
just
Andrew,
wanted
go
to
ahead.
add,
Yep.
I've seen some skepticism on some of the online commentary about this when people said that, well, the majority of these funds from parking are gonna go towards downtown improvement. So I think the quicker that a plan can get out, not just a list of like, hey, we'll do these types
Yeah,
of things,
yeah.
but like full-blown capital improvements plan, like this is what the money is planned to go to. Might help with a few people.
Mm,
It's not
yeah.
gonna fully turn the tide, but
Yeah.
every little bit I think is important, so.
I think along those lines, as revenue comes in, it will allow us to do bigger things like, the streetscape or Skate Street. I think that this year, every penny should immediately go back into the downtown, so people,
Absolutely.
we
Yeah.
are reinvesting in the downtown and you can immediately see the impact.
Yep.
The savings for something like streetscape is gonna take many years. I don't want
Right.
people to wait many years. before
Right.
they see
That's right.
Especially since it will be a smaller amount of revenue this year because we're taking back.
Right.
A bigger price tag.
Emily, would there be any opportunity for general fund to support the payback of the infrastructure to allow the park revenues to go into downtown? More of those now, then pay that back over 2, 3 years or something?
I think we could look into it. I think that the budget, doesn't have as much flexibility as I would like. But I think we're gonna see some changes this year as Harbor Shores comes back on our tax roll. There might be some.
You know, maybe what we think about too is, I mean, it's just, you know, it's mechanics a little bit, but maybe we think about, you know, each year as revenue becomes available, that there's a certain amount we've earmarked toward, you know, current year activity, and then develop a, you know, a bigger fund of things for longer range plans. I mean, and I don't, you know, we have to kind of see what obviously what the numbers look like, but maybe that might be a way to manage the funding as well. So, okay. All right. So Kelly, we'll look for you to provide us with some feedback on that, and we will come back to you for a future discussion. All right.
The coordination item on that is budgeted for next year. You've already got State Street ripped up for,
Yeah.
stormwater and new sanitary sewer. It would be interesting to see whether those programs can dovetail to set the stage for something different, or
Yeah.
what's gonna happen as opposed to independent.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good point, Chris. I happen to, I mean, I know this has been on the calendar for quite some time here, but I happened to pick that up again this month as I was looking through the notes. But you're right, that may be an opportunity to do something.
Some color. So, that was supposed to go right when I started, so that's about 2.5 years delayed. And Tim has been patiently waiting while we brought on JPR, did our streetscape designs, and learned what it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
And so once we had that price tag, it was decided that Tim would proceed.
sure,
Without the streetscape.
Sure,
And
sure.
So I think you're right, Chris, we could probably look back to see, well, while we're digging up the roads, could we do new light poles, or could we do new benches? What component
yes,
should we do, knowing that that component would probably have to be removed if we're going to do a bigger overhaul down the road. But I think that $10 million mark is so far off that it would make sense to do some enhancements now.
Yeah.
What's the slated timeframe? You said 2026.
I think
Fall or
so.
what?
I don't
spring, I
remember.
thought it was spring,
I don't make that chart anymore.
no, it's, I thought it was spring of next year they start that. Yeah, State Street rehab, spring of 26,
I did get an update.
and then fall, so they're gonna do it, you know, before the
Well, it's
season
one or
after.
the other. It's got the
Oh,
asterisk,
okay.
So that means it's one or the other.
Yeah.
but not both.
Ah,
Tim sent me an update over the
well,
weekend.
and this project is really a,
You know.
like a utilities thing, right? I mean, it's not about the street, it's about what's underneath the street, right?
I know.
Yeah,
I think is that with some of the money, they can level out some of the places where the bricks are really bad.
yeah,
But it would be useful. It's
Okay.
not redoing the street.
Oh.
It's just like tackling some of the worst things.
And maybe looking to the future too about our PR and everything. If we could, probably already have a lot of photo evidence of things that are not in great repair right now. We could do a little compare and contrast before and after. And my sister lives in Charleston. I visited her and remember seeing this sign that said, "Your 1 penny tax is what created this brand new road and everything." And I thought that went a really long way to be like,
Right.
okay, I do like this
Right.
road. It is pretty nice. So I think some of those little tiny things that help people think like, oh, okay, our city is doing a lot for our town and our infrastructure.
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, all good, all good suggestions, so we will proceed on that basis, huh? Okay, what do we have next year? Pleasant Street Plaza. So I think I was going a little bit round and round on this one, to be frank with you. we had, it seems like eons ago, we did this initial design work that was kind of done quickly, let's call it. A little bit of back of the envelope, something we threw together for a grant application that unfortunately didn't come through. And so it seems to me what we don't have necessarily is I don't know, an updated design, something more reflective of the discussions we've had to date. Am I thinking this? Am I thinking this right? Yeah, yeah,
What do we?
right,
We put some together, put some renders, great. But we said the whole way through, this would still require public engagement. This could evolve quite a bit.
right,
This was something for us to apply.
right.
So we have not come back and gotten that public engagement. I don't know that the DDA is fully aligned on what the
Sure.
DDA wants. And
Yep.
so I think that is probably a conversation we need to have, whether it's, I think Kelly might be suggesting in the future, but now.
But I mean,
Yeah,
does
I
it,
mean, I think we need to, with the, like I said earlier, this is the last year of the 5-year agreement with
Right.
the plaza and everything. I really think, because it has come up, in other conversations,
Yeah.
I really think, we need to kind of have a solid plan. What you want to do with it.
so, I mean, I think there's like 3 different lanes of things going on, because the Pleasant Street Plaza, 2 years ago, DDA allocated money for a small improvement at Court Street Plaza. And then grant money became a possibility, and so then it was a whole design from
Right.
Place Plaza all the way through Pleasant Street, if the money, and then it didn't come through, and then it came back up again. So I think before we start thinking the whole concept, the big question mark, because there's like a almost $2 million grant, might get awarded, might not, which would change a lot of components of the conversation. If it's,
Yeah,
if
we had the
that
fund,
money's not
yeah.
available,
Yeah.
well, that limits significantly what could be done there, including the overall design of it. And so I think it's a little bit premature until we know what kind of money because the difference between $150,000 and $1.5 million is pretty significant.
Sure.
And so that's one thing. And then, yeah, 3 people are mad that we take 7 parking spots. I get it, because they call it 40 parking spots. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole at this public meeting about just how, like, that's just made up nonsense. And then it's become made up nonsense that's very personally attached to Robert and I, because our businesses are there. And it's become a rallying cry that we're on the DDA to be personally benefiting our businesses to the detriment of the rest of the downtown, which again is bonkers, but.
So what's the
So-
status of I think.
But
It's a good
Pleasant
point.
Street
Yeah,
Plaza
yeah.
it's in place for this year.
No.
But I mean, I don't think we should, until we know what the budget is
Well, I guess
going forward,
that's where I'm going.
to
What's
talk
the-
about what the vision is
Yeah.
from the DDA is premature.
I
is
think
my
it's a
point.
good point. I mean, help us out here, Kelly.
I
What's
totally
the
agree.
timetable on these funding
I have not
requests?
heard, and unless you've gotten an email.
I just
so
checked
that-
last week. It's
Yeah.
How,
still-
when was this submitted? Let me just think about that.
January, I think.
Hey, Andrew, you have any feel?
Yeah.
I think last time it took 6 months.
Oh, 6
It
months,
took
okay.
probably 2 or 3
So
months longer than
it's safe to assume we may not hear by June or July
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I don't know.
like later.
I'm also frankly not optimistic.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I wouldn't count.
Well, I
Okay.
was going to suggest the other thing in my mind, and I agree with you, Deb, until we get that piece of it, the financial, but also I think it is kind of tied to the Main Street MDOT project.
yeah,
I
would
almost
agree.
would encourage us to wait and let's look what that ends up being and what that looks like before we move forward with tackling that section, since we are set up for this summer and possibly next. But I just think that whole project is going to be a game changer for a lot of things that we're talking about here.
there's some logical connections. I do agree, because if you, for example, I remember the last meeting I was at, and I was talking with the gentleman from MDOT, and I said, I asked him about Pleasant Street, and I said, if we thought about maybe, sake of argument, we're gonna close the street. He said, oh, we could curb that all the way across or whatever, or curb it halfway if you wanted to leave an opening or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of, there's some connections there. So maybe that, maybe that makes sense. So there's a funding issue, and, the Main Street project is interrelated. I don't know.
Two things. The first is MDOT's not gonna just close our street. So if that is something that we want them to do, I think it is something that this group would have to get alignment on, and then would have to propose to the
Yes.
commission or to the
Yep.
broader stakeholders.
Yeah, if you want to do it permanently.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
If we wanted that to be part of MDOT's project.
Right.
That is something that we, as the folks who are working with them, have not directed them to do that.
No, it was just a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think that this group would have to get aligned, and they would have to get support from the city commission if we wanted to do that.
Yeah.
The second thing is that the 5-year agreement ends at the end of this summer. So there is time, but there won't be a Pleasant Street Plaza in 2026 unless someone requests it from the city commission. Which isn't to say that, we couldn't ask for the exact same thing that we have now, but the agreement is expired.
Right.
And so I think when this came up with Wolf Financial, and they came to ask for the modifications for this summer, the conversation was, well, we need to come back and start talking about what next summer should look like. So that's what Kelly's doing. If we want to wait, I think that's fine. But those are sort of the two questions around.
Well, that was what I was thinking of, is will that, and, obviously the traffic study people, but I was wondering if with that two-way going on Ship Street and the light, does that affect this project? Now that we've told Wolf they can come in off Ship and come in off the street that way, does that affect that project? Those are the questions I just don't know. And so I wondered if perhaps waiting and talking with MDOT and how those traffic patterns work and all that, if that's something we should be.
As of right now, Pleasant Street remains a one-way street.
Okay.
Except that we've changed it in summer, right?
Right.
Okay.
When it's
Okay.
blocked off. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if we wanted to make a more permanent change
Mm-hmm.
as part of the MDOT project, then we would have to do it then too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how there's room to make it a permanent two-way street with the parking there, but,
Yeah.
and just to add a little bit more about talking about permanent closure and stuff.
Yep.
The business owners on Pleasant Street, we have gotten together more than once to discuss what we would like to see happen to that property. And there's some differences, thought differences, but overall, the property owners along Pleasant Street, especially on the first block where the market and 221 is,
Mm-hmm.
would like that to be closed permanently as a court and make it a placemaking and make it more part of the court park plot, to make it to make it an attraction, if you will. There's a lot of towns in Southwest Michigan right now doing alleys and small
Yep.
parks like that.
Yep.
And the property owners are very much in favor of doing a project like that over there.
Okay, so lots of moving parts here, I guess, maybe the way to think. We got the funding, we got the Main Street project, we got the input from the local businesses.
And I realize it
fact-
would be more than just the local businesses.
You understand, and then the fact that this current arrangement expires after this year. So I think, I think we're probably not ready to give a firm, hey, we want to do X kind of thing. But we're gonna probably have to deal with the closure issue sooner rather than later for 26
Yeah.
or 26 and beyond, I guess, right? And they're 27, but they're gonna need input relatively quickly
Well, and the
or
closure,
sooner.
Couldn't do it at some point.
the closure was done for 5 years originally.
Right.
And I think it would need to be at the minimum 5-year increments because mostly Robert, but anybody who's
Spends
gonna
money.
invest that kind of money in outdoor furniture and amenities needs to know it's not gonna be for 4 months and then
Right.
it's
Pull
over.
the
So,
plug on it. Sure. That makes
so
sense.
that was the
Yeah. No.
thinking behind 5 years.
Makes sense.
Give it a few months, see what
Yeah.
comes from the grant application.
Yep.
See how things go this summer with the modifications that we're making, and then come back late summer.
I think that makes sense.
Could we try
I
to
think-
elicit any feedback on the pros and cons of the whole thing from business owners, anybody who has an opinion about it as far as like what worked, what didn't, maybe nothing didn't work, maybe it was 100% positive, but just to get some feedback.
Last year, before we approved it for this summer, I think it was, I did talk to all of the business owners on Pleasant and Court with just tons of positive feedback.
Mhm.
I have not spoken to anyone more broadly. And again, at some point we should do some public engagement.
Yeah.
I think maybe once the TK gets some alignment, we should start thinking about that. We could also look at bringing back in the consultants that did that initial line for us, Progressive and any,
So,
they could come in and offer some support as well.
Yeah.
I mean, just to, not because I want to spend even more money, but we have a bunch of designs all around the city from Jones. Would we not want the GPR, would we not want them to also do
keep it
the design
consistent.
for that?
Yeah. To keep it
Because-
consistent. Sure.
If that's
Sure.
the vision,
Yep.
to bring in a different firm for this one street seems weird to
Well,
me.
the original one.
I know they
remember-
were brought in originally.
Well, it was kind of this quickie thing. I
Right.
think it was just a little bit of a fire drill as I
So-
recall.
Predated JPR.
I think they did, but now to me, it doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
go for,
No, makes sense. I think that makes sense that we would
go with
use.
them again.
So, yeah, let's look at, if we can do like modification to their existing contract. to expand that scope.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to include the park and.
All right. So we'll await further feedback on the grant and allow us to noodle that a little bit more. And I'm sure, in the next couple of months, we'll have to think harder about that. There is a meeting of the Main Street organization first week of June, I want to say the 3rd or something like that. So maybe, we might press this a little bit more with them in terms of, how they might handle that and what they might need to, if in fact we wanted to do a closure or something with them.
Your DDA meeting before the next Main Street.
I don't think so, actually. Is there?
No,
Is
because because we just
No,
got that
Maybe
invitation.
at the old count. We
Yeah.
just got,
June 2nd.
Yep.
MDOT meetings are June 2nd.
oh, it's the same day. Yeah,
Later though,
Yes.
later.
I would encourage maybe a look at the designs and some discussion. Maybe the group already feels like they're good and dialed in, then if so, then maybe that's a stamp, but in case there are things that the board feels need some change, I'd encourage those comments to come in as soon as possible, so maybe a good agenda item that day.
What would,
Maybe MDOT will join us that way.
should we,
Isn't
I'm
there-
just trying to think of the process here a little bit, Emily, Kelly. We'd have to kind of formally go to MDOT, wouldn't we, with our thoughts, right? We'd have to go to them and say, hey, listen, again, sake of argument, we want to permanently shut down this street. How do we interact that with your work?
I hear car alarm.
So- Because the June 2nd, so we have a DDA meeting and then there's a stakeholders meeting with MDOT and then there's a public meeting.
Right,
The
that's right.
stakeholders
There's two
meeting is at
meetings.
noon
That's right.
and then there's a public meeting here at 4.
Yeah, which
Wow,
is,
that's a fun day.
oh, yeah, can't wait.
I have so many meetings that day.
So is that the way this would have to work, you think, or?
I can't see what.
Maybe MDOT just needs us to
I-
tell them
yeah,
that
I think-
shutting that off or
I think that's probably
I think
right.
that the
Yeah.
alignment has to be on the city level, right? The same way that, we worked Ship Street changes and Port Street changes through
Right.
the stakeholder group and the
Yeah.
city commission. I think we have to do the same on Pleasant Street. If we tell them it's just gonna be a curb.
Right, that's what they'll build.
Continue the sidewalk, yeah, I don't think they care. So we would just need to make sure that the DDA starts by getting aligned, recommending it to the stakeholder group. And go from there.
I guess the other way to think about this, we don't necessarily have to align with the Main Street project to close that street, to close it if we want, right? I mean, we can continue to do what we're doing, and in a future, larger project, we might end up with a design that shows the closure more or whatever.
That's right. I don't think
Yeah.
it would be that hard to close it off in the future.
Right.
If,
If we decided that's what we want to do.
that
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
decision. Maybe we want to wait till.
So maybe the aspect with MDOT, I guess where I'm going with this, is the issue with MDOT maybe isn't as critical to future plans. Am I thinking that, right?
I think that if we know that's where we want to go and we could have it together, it'd be great to do it.
Yeah,
at the
that's right.
time if we
Yep,
want.
yep, yep.
If we don't know and we decide.
We're not ready or whatever. Yep,
I think that's
yeah.
okay too.
Okay,
Well, as we all know, once the jurisdictions get their plans, they just kind of linger on. They keep going forward, they keep going forward, and then they get postponed, but then they come forward. But they never change the form or the bad decisions that were made
Yeah.
initially when it didn't make any difference. And so I firmly believe in terms of Pleasant Street, not closing Pleasant Street is an opportunity to miss redesigning the town on a small scale basis. It can set the precedence for everything that you're doing on State Street. The local businesses, want it. Wolf comes in to one meeting and gets everything they want and change all the traffic patterns that everyone's agreed to for years and years. And so I really think it's a missed opportunity to not showcase Pleasant Street with the plaza with the Courtyard Plaza that's going on, with the improvements that we've made to 12, with the improvements we're gonna make for 11. That is a closable street. That street doesn't function as it's a parking lot. It's not a
Mhm.
street, it's a parking lot.
I-
So why not make it usable? Why not make it beneficial? You want a short-term win? Do
Yeah.
State Street on Pleasant Street
yeah.
and
right,
tell
right,
everyone
right.
what you're gonna do, and you reduce the number by far. So this is a vision thing.
Yeah,
You've got to close it. There's no other alternative than to close it. And again, give yourself the opportunity to do what you say you want to do in the downtown.
yeah.
Because that's the place to do it. Because now you're building, you're saving, you're not putting it, you're not closing it off with curbs on your dollar. You're using them dollars. You have grant applications, for that in particular. You've got Court Plaza, and you've already improved parking lot 12 with the direction going back to the corner where there could be a bus stop where you direct all the traffic and all these poor people who work downtown down Pleasant Street, in a protected view corridor. And so there's no reason not to do it. Just.
I hear you, Chris. I mean, I think, I don't know. I mean, I think that's the way we lean. I mean, so maybe the question is, how do we get to that decision point, right? I mean, how do we drive? And maybe it's just this body driving itself to that conclusion and saying, hey, that's what we want to do,
Why don't we look at the JPR agreement, see if we can bring them in and they can think through the design.
Because they're already working with MDOT on the
Yeah.
streetscape, right? So they're already engaged, if you will. So if we said to them, hey, as part of that engagement, what if we propose this, right? I mean, I think, okay, so let's do that. And do we need to do anything else, either publicly or with the businesses to get, I mean, these individuals have already met on this, Deb and Robert and the Silver Harbor guy, they've already met on this, and there seems to be a consensus there about what they would like to do. I mean, what else would we need to say, that's what we'd like to do as a DDA, and then ultimately it's got to go to our friends that take all the heat on
Thanks for
everything,
calling us
right?
friends.
I think we can do that some public engagement. Again, once we get some design ideas,
Yeah,
I'd like to understand what the community thinks.
yeah, okay,
And that would be helpful.
okay, all right. Yeah, that's it. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so again, lots of moving parts here. We've got, so you'll engage with JPR on this issue. We're chasing the grant. Hopefully we get some conclusion on that pretty soon. We have the, the ticker running on the 5-year agreement that we'll have to deal with one way or the other. Yeah, I think we'll be in a good spot. Huh? Sound okay, everyone? Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that. Okay. New business. The next item we have here is elections.
I did, yeah, I had this on
And I
there for
believe,
May.
and I believe it, in the bylaws, it said May, so.
There you
Which-
go.
What?
Surprise, we're doing elections today. We need to reappoint our chair and vice chair. Sorry that there's no language here.
I'm sorry, I didn't, that's my fault.
It's- That's okay.
Well,
I think we can wing it.
Yeah, I think we can win.
We can figure it out.
So,
So I guess the question is this group comfortable making a nomination for a chair?
so I guess what I would say is I serve at your pleasure, and I'd be happy to continue to do this if you're so inclined to.
That was
To
my
let
question.
me-
Do you even want it?
And, right. At any rate, that's what I would say.
Motion, anyone for the chair?
Do we have anyone else interested in the position? Has anyone verbalized?
Come on, it's your chance.
I'm not, I'm not
Your
hearing
chance.
it. Well, then I'll
I'm-
move.
oh,
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, no.
Yeah,
ahead,
I
go
move
ahead,
to
Nathan, I'll support.
appoint Tom Golick as our board chair for the DDA.
Don't you have to nominate him and don't we have to vote?
I think you have to support it and then vote.
Support.
Okay.
Public comment?
Knows how to do that.
All right, all right.
Abby, call the roll.
All right, yeah, right.
Wait, where's Abby? We can't do it.
You guys are a lot more formal than
All in
that.
favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you. Well, I thank you, I think. I guess. I would
Who's
say.
our, do we have a vice chair?
Congratulations and
Chris,
thank you.
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
And Chris, are you interested in continuing?
I'm not interested in continuing because I sit on all of these boards because I obviously wanted to do something, for the community. I don't think I have been as effective as I want to be sitting on these boards because when I decided to sit on all the boards I sit on, I said I wouldn't work in town because I think there's an inherent conflict of interest with that regardless of what other professional members of boards think of. And so I think I can be more effective on the private side. I've got a number of things I'm working on in the downtown that's gonna have me on the other side of the fence asking for some things for some, clients and things. And so I don't know how long I'm gonna stay on the board because when I have those commissions secured, I'll withdraw from the board. So there's no reason to have me be vice chair going forward.
understood,
Fair enough.
understood.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So do we have other, we don't have a full complement here of people, but is there anyone of this group who might be interested in serving in that role? No? Anyone?
And I wasn't called on, so it was easy for me to be vice chair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
I had no duties or responsibilities.
Yeah.
so
Anyone else have an
It's
interest?
not cumbersome.
There's only 3 of you left to pick.
Yeah,
from.
right.
We're all
I mean,
looking
I'm
at
happy
the
to do
board.
it, but I'm a lightning rod right now, so I don't, person, seriously.
And again, it's vice chair, so I mean, how many times did you have to use that title for anything?
All right,
So,
It's not.
it's more of a backup.
It's a process thing.
We could make Robert do it. That's what he gets for going to Scotland.
yeah, cool.
What about our resident, our downtown resident?
Yes.
Yeah, you wanna-
Interested?
Yes, Sue.
No pressure.
I
Everyone
pro-
likes
I,
you.
I promise to do all the heavy lifting there, so.
We can also
I
table
would,
this.
I would consider it only if I could have an ongoing consultation, as we often do certain nights at certain establishments downtown with Chris, because he's
Sure.
so,
I think that would
Chris's
be,
knowledge is
Mhm.
so
Absolutely.
beneficial. Just, I'm glad to hear that you're staying in there because he's got a knowledge base that can't be matched, and
Mhm.
certainly not by me.
There's no issue. We'll always talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So is that you're interested?
Sure.
All right,
I'm
Right.
not
I'm,
interested, but I'll do it.
come on, come on.
I'll make the motion to have Sue be the vice chair.
Yeah,
support.
All in favor?
Yeah. I-
Aye.
aye.
Yay, Sue.
All right, congratulations, Sue, all right. So we'll have a 4-hour meeting after this to go over all your duties.
I'll have to go to
be
my
right-
praying job.
It'll be all, it's
The
exhausting.
left of me.
All right.
Sorry for the confusion on the election thing.
All right, so more excited. I saw the word liquor. I got very excited when I saw the liquor license support. thing.
500
So-
Main, where's that?
So
That you
this is
guys?
the,
Oh,
these are
yes.
the individuals that want to make, they're here. Ah, right, welcome.
Wonderful.
So they would like to, they're doing a boutique hotel. This is a very
Yes.
exciting project.
Super
I haven't gotten
exciting.
into details, but the location's terrific and I know you're
Really,
looking
it
for a
used to
liquor
be.
license.
They're
So
doing the boutique hotel.
help me, and maybe it's just me, but help me understand what's the mechanics here on this? I know they're looking for our support on this.
As you know, the Carnegie Library is being turned into a boutique hotel.
Yeah,
It's
terrific.
going to be 5 rooms, 6 rooms.
Very exciting.
Congratulations.
Signs are
Very exciting.
Gorgeous. They're aiming to open in the fall. Is that still true?
Ah, right.
Those liquor license time
Yeah,
is
yeah.
out. And they can speak to it.
Yeah.
There will be a bar.
Cool.
Nice.
Limited hours, very sophisticated, 6 PM to 9 PM, I think is what I heard. So, no, it would be more like 3 to 4 to 9. Probably 5 days a week. We have we have capacity limit of 49 people or less.
Mhm.
So open to the public.
It's open to the
Oh,
public.
wow. Nice.
I'm in.
We're in.
That's where you go out with Teresa and Chris.
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
So, it's, I think we've been pretty open about what it is and what we want it to be,
Right.
is something that St. Joe doesn't have. From a 40 and over kind of crowd.
Almost there.
Hey, I qualify.
I think I've said it.
If you go 2 times that number, I
was
still
gonna say,
qualify,
I'm
right?
1 month. No.
So what's so
Got 1 month left.
So Emily, help me with the, Kelly, the liquor license, they just want it, they're going through a normal liquor license.
It's a little wonky, the liquor license, there was a request for support from, their neighbors. And the church next door, declined to offer support.
Okay.
And so, as I understand it, this happens from time to time. It typically does not prevent getting the liquor license. However, when something like that happens, a show of support from
Sure.
other
Sure.
parts of
Bodies.
the community are really meaningful. I'm drafting a letter that will come from the city manager. I'm hoping perhaps the mayor would be willing to support as well.
Sure.
And having a letter from the DDA would be really helpful. So
Okay.
I think the question is,
Absolutely.
if the DDA is willing to.
And where are you in this process? So you're working with the county and the liquor control board and,
We're in the final stretch.
Right.
We've been working on the project for a year and a half, so this isn't like a surprise.
Yep.
This is the first time we've heard of resistance.
Hmm.
Is in the final stage.
Right.
You guys know we've been in front of.
Yes.
this many times.
so you're not purchasing someone else's license, you are purchasing someone
This
else.
is what you have to do to get a liquor.
Yeah, right. Okay, so not a new license. Yeah, right, Class C, sure. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with this, more than I care to
So,
be, but. yeah.
What you're asking for is the letter of support from the DDA.
Yeah, that's
But
right,
yes,
that's right.
If the DDA is supportive, we can of course draft one, we're happy to send it out to the groups. and
Sure.
Review it, but yes, a motion of support for this.
I mean,
And for drafting a letter.
does anybody, I don't know, does anybody have an issue with this? I mean, I think this is
Mhm.
great. I mean, there's a major investment in our community and I think having that amenity available to, people who stay at that location or other dinosaurs like me that might wander in, I think would be great.
I would make a
Anybody-
motion to, oh,
No, I was
sorry.
just gonna add that, just as a point of clarification, it's my understanding, it's not that the church neglected to support it, they opposed it, correct?
Correct.
So.
Yes, that's
There's
a
a
more
difference.
accurate way to say that.
Well, there is a
They
difference.
oppose.
Right,
Right,
right.
they could just been
That's
silent,
correct.
and that would have been.
Sorry.
Right,
like
right,
the-
right.
Sorry if my language was confusing. They opposed it.
So this has to go before an appeals board and MLCC. They typically rule in favor of the applicant, but the more support that you can get, the better. So
Gotcha.
We've given a
Gotcha.
letter of support from Cornerstone. It's pretty consistent with, you guys have been up here half a dozen times, and there's been a rezoning, and there's been
A lot of work.
a lot of support behind this tax abatement, so.
I'd be inclined for us to provide such a letter if everyone
Yeah,
else is
I
in
mean-
agreement. Do we make you need a motion? You want a motion?
I-
Well, I'm the next door property owner, and so I've known these people for a year and a half. They're delightful people. They're
Alright, very good.
absolutely committed.
Very good.
The backstory in terms of the church's arguments is, really complicated, and their whole letter of objection talks about they're looking for information. They can't seem to get the information. No one seems to know anything. So they're gonna take a different, since they can't get the information, they're gonna take a different approach and just work against
Yeah,
it.
sure.
So with that being stated, I think it's very important that this body and everyone else, I'm glad to hear the Cornerstone wrote a letter and that Emily's willing to do that. These are the kinds of things that the Downtown Development Authority should be doing, supporting business over and above these other types of things. They had a very difficult time meandering through the Plan Commission when they asked for a variation to extend their patio from the side of their building out to the public walkway. There was a lot of discussion. Luckily, there was only one vote at the Plan Commission that was against it. But these are the kinds of things that get stuck in our process. And again, the DDA should be proactive and actively involved in doing this. And as the neighbor, I told my lot totally covers their lot, and I think it's a real benefit, notwithstanding the benefits in the Oprah grant and everything else that the city's already supported. It would be foolish to not help them get to where they want to go. This is the first project, as we've said before, that's happened in our downtown in 50 years. And so certainly we can't let, the church that's really negotiating a position, they're not, I don't feel the church is against the process or what they're doing. They just
Sure.
are using it as a point of negotiation.
Yeah, I
So
got
I support making a favorable response to that. And so I'll make the motion that the DDA draft a letter in support of their license.
Okay, if we gave a second on that.
second,
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Just because personally, I love the idea, and whenever I make a decision, I like to know all angles of it, and when I'm 40, I will come to the bar.
Really?
But you kind of talked about they have these vague reasons that they aren't supporting it, and they're not getting the questions, but do you have any more specifics on what they're missing, or why would anyone not want this?
Some of the questions that were in their response were related to fear that it would not succeed. And that, we need to know about our financials, and if it wasn't going to succeed, that it would turn into a larger bar. But that would be a little misguided because you'd have to go through a complete rezoning. I mean, we'd have to fill that for you guys. And now it's the bigger thing because we have capacity, but we've been very upfront from the very beginning about what we're doing. So it's surprising.
And I've talked to the church too, many times, 2 or 3 people there, and explained to them that this is open up at 3:00. We're closing at 9:30 latest because the most important thing is the rooms upstairs. I think it's a hotel first, bar second, not a bar first, hotel second.
Right.
So old building, we're doing our best to manage noise, tons of noise preparation, but still people upstairs.
Right.
Can't
Sure.
have a bar going at 10, 11 o'clock and
Sure.
knowing people talk.
Mhm.
It's not that, it's supposed to supplement the hotel, not reverse. I think they think it's a little reversed.
Mhm.
it's the other
So-
way.
And maybe fear of the unknown is what they're, it could turn into something big, but it doesn't sound like it really has the potential to with such a limited space.
The entrance and everything is really on the other side of
I was gonna say,
what
yeah.
their entrance is and stuff, and we were sharing the same walkway, and I guess if people are coming to watch like a football game or big rowdy thing, and they're all sharing parking lots, that could be a whole
Right.
different discussion. It's
Not that.
strictly people be on the other side with the patio that we just got approved, the water's right there, having a cocktail, then going to dinner somewhere downtown, maybe coming back if it's still open, having one more cocktail and shutting it down.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Perhaps over time, I'd love to see the relationship develop where the church might welcome your lovely guests to worship with them on Sunday mornings. But
There you
There
I
you go.
just wanted to say, I think it's a great idea. Thank you for investing in the community. If you're familiar with economic development, all that, boutique hotels are kind of the thing.
Mhm.
Right now, it just adds so much charm. So, and what a gorgeous, gorgeous building. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to keep everything, and anytime you guys want to come through and take a look at it, it's in the process of being built out, so we have the rooms upstairs that
Okay.
are
When-
built out.
Can't wait.
You can see the
Yeah.
Progress of it, we're trying to get video and
Cool.
Dates on Facebooks
Are-
and stuff like that.
Are you only looking for like letters of support from the city or other business owners along Main Street? Okay, because I own the Market Building. I'm happy to write a letter of support in.
So we have a motion on the floor to provide that letter of
Sorry, I
support.
thought
Can
we
get a-
voted.
We get a second
I'd
on that?
second.
Second, yeah. Any,
I seconded it.
Oh, sorry.
any more discussion on this issue? Yeah, all right.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No. So Emily, you can,
We'll draft a letter.
you want to
Do you
draft?
want to see it? Do you want us to send it out for you all to take a look at? Right.
It's pretty
Trust you.
straightforward, pretty straightforward.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm assuming you'll do the city one and copy it. I mean,
Let us know how it turns out.
yeah.
Yeah.
What is your timing again to open?
Well, wanted it to be fall or late summer, but we'll keep it back.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully we can push things along here. So what, then do you have like a hearing with the liquor control people or when is that? June 10th.
June 10th, we'll have
Okay,
a Zoom meeting. with
Yep,
all of us
yep.
Involved.
okay. Oh,
Our council,
all the best. I mean, we're appreciative of your investment and look forward to supporting your business. Yeah, thank you. Very good. Very exciting. That's great. I think so interestingly, the next topic is downtown promotion. So Kelly and I had a little bit of discussion about this. This is kind of I don't know, I know it's a hot button for all of us, but for me in particular, I'm always concerned about vacant businesses. And I know we've had a lot of discussion about development and
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Fingers
it.
crossed, toes crossed.
Good luck. So this whole issue of, promotion and development and,
If you can give it to
a
me.
thought I had on this, and I wanted to get your kind of feedback on this is, it seems to me we ought to have, I don't know, some kind of group that monitors the activity in the downtown areas is along the lines of Chris's comments. Some kind of group with members from this organization, as well as maybe some members of the, I don't know, city commission or staff or whatever that kind of monitors the activity in the downtown area and works on the development aspects. I know there's a lot of, I don't know, behind the scenes, I'll call it, discussions about development, things of that nature. But my thought was that this is something, I think as Chris rightfully points out, we need to be proactive on. So this example of this particular business is very exciting. We have vacancies in our downtown right now. Seems to me we ought to be supporting the efforts to fill those vacancies and maybe even steer them to the types of businesses that we think would be beneficial to our downtown. Right now, I think it's a little bit of a free-for-all, right? I mean, if somebody wants to open a business, I know they have to go through an approval process and what have you. And we're not trying to stifle whatever somebody might want to do short of them opening I don't know, something untawdry, let's call it. But on the other hand, I think we could be a force for improvement in our downtown area. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know, I'm interested in what you all think about it.
I just wanted to add that from my perspective and my husband's perspective, we're property owners downtown. And the calls we're getting and the people we're talking to in the real estate market, it seems to be a hot market right now. And so when I hear, the conversations like at the commission meeting about, oh, doom and gloom, since I moved down here in 2019, it's opposite.
Good.
Is what we're hearing. A lot of people in a lot of different types of establishments are looking at the properties available, and they're asking a lot of questions. And I do think you're right, though, there needs to be a place to direct these folks. In addition to the people looking at properties, we've also been talking to fellow downtown property owners about forming some sort of either an informal or a formal group to see if we couldn't help the city with attracting the right kind of businesses or providing resources. But we kind of feel like the property owners, it's time that we have a voice too. Because this group manages the existing businesses, stores, but not necessarily the property owners. And so those are some things that we're kind of working on, but we'd love to partner with the
So Emily, when I think about this, I mean, how best can we, our group here mesh with city's efforts? I mean, I think, again, this is really where we ought to be proactive. And I don't know, my idea is some kind of group, but, I don't want to create more bureaucracy, if you will, but, somehow I think we have to be engaged in that kind of effort.
This is an area, Tom, you ask all the time. Isn't there something I can take off your plate? And I feel like this is a really good place for the DDA to be sort of on the phone with potential business, right? We heard about, well, I won't say a business that wanted to come downtown. And you might remember Brian Maynard brought it up, and it took me weeks to sort of get to, I need to call this person. And then I handed it off to Kelly, and she finally did. We were just saying the other day, we really need to follow up with them. I envisioned some like real white glove service. Let's do some handhold. And while I think we have to be the folks who can get them through the process internally, some hand holding on the front end of, hey, we're interested, or we've heard you're looking for a brand new place. Have you considered downtown St. Joseph? I think that would be a fabulous role for the DDA. When the time is right, then a warm handoff to Kelly,
Right.
who can help navigate it internally.
It's like a business ambassador subcommittee
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
a thing where we
Yeah.
actively go out and have these
Yeah, I think
conversations.
something like that could be really valuable. We, right before Kelly started, unfortunately, did some trainings. Tom, you were there, Chris, you were there, with Joe Borgstrom, who talked a lot about how we use the information from our economic development and some information about our vacancies downtown to really advertise online on the city's website. Interested in opening a business in the downtown, here's what we have available. Here's what it could be a good fit for. Here's what our demand looks like.
Yeah.
That is something that once Kelly gets our new downtown parking program rolled out on May 15th, I would really like to come back to. So getting that information online and sort of pairing that with an ambassador who can be that intro point, I think could be really valuable.
I think we also need to figure out what are the holes, what are we missing in our downtown, because we have lots of
Yeah.
repeat businesses. We don't want just another of what we already have, and we don't want something that's just gonna come and fail and just create another hole in a year from now.
Yeah.
So what is it that our people want to see downtown? Like, what do we not have? And I feel like there was some kind of a study that was,
That's the
There's
economic
hard data
development
on that,
strategy.
and
It's that leakage study.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What's leaving our community.
Right.
and what there is capacity for in our community.
or even, maybe we have it in this part of the city, but not this part of the city. Like, is there a really good cocktail lounge on State Street? No, there's really not. I mean, that's all it, like, there's gotta be something that's missing and we can actually go, oh, we need to go to New Holland and bring them here and say, this is the place you want to be because it's successful in all these other business communities around us, and really target something that's going to be a big success.
So how do we, I don't know, kind of formalize this, orchestrate this kind of effort? Because I think, we'd all agree that this is useful. It's, I'm thinking mechanically, how do we, do we form a little subgroup, or do we, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of the way to make it operational.
I think to identify folks who are interested in doing it.
I like it.
And then I probably want to work with Cornerstone. And Kelly to sort of get aligned on what are our talking points, what are we saying, how are we promoting the downtown? Just making sure that when someone's making that call, we're sort of all speaking with the same voice. That we're able to highlight like businesses that could be supported, the vacancies that are available, things like that.
Should we form a formal subcommittee then? That
We
can kind of like go do that, report back to this body and say, this
I
is
mean,
what.
that's the way I think about this, to be honest.
I just want to add a couple comments. So as part of our reorg that we're doing internally right now with our new, we're looking at all the tools that we want to have in our toolkit for communities throughout the county. So that is everything from, you know, the big project industrial attraction work that we do to some really great database tools for real estate and downtown. So we're working on that. I want to make sure we're not duplicative, right? Come alongside us. We're, you know, you are our client. I'll also remind this group that if there are targeted things that we decide or you decide are needed downtown, well, you can offer grants that are targeted towards a specific type of business. You're gonna have some money to do that with. So that's something to think about. And I had a third thing, just deploying the marketing strategy, right there. That marketing strategy was done for businesses. This is not, you know, attracting tourists. There's already great work being done on that front. So I think getting those three things going will be really important. And if there's a group that wants to, you know, put their heads around how best to do it, sure.
That's right. Yes, do you wanna?
So, yeah, so I'm thinking, you know, what do we need to, we have the rules about how many people and all this stuff.
Have quorum, so we've got 9.
So we can do
Or
as many,
less, max 4.
we can do as many as 4 in a group, in a subgroup. So can we put that group together and maybe have an initial meeting? I don't know, Andrew, would you maybe sit in with us and, maybe, you know, someone from staff, Kelly or yourself or whatever?
I'll
Would-
offer one more comment, I'm sorry.
Please, yeah,
Like the work that we're all doing here, making downtown better, like that's the work, right?
Yeah.
If you build a really killer place, the businesses will come.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been in communities I've worked in where the first thing they want to do is market. And like, we've got 50 vacant storefronts and you know, streetscapes that are falling apart and everything else.
Yeah.
And like, it's cart before the horse. We're not there for this, but like, just know that building a great place, what we're doing.
You know that they will come?
Yeah,
I wanna highlight on that because I think that's the thing that's holding us back. I mean, the community has not given anyone credit for the new signage package and what that does to drive commerce and what that does to drive tourism. You know, nobody knows what the streetscape improvements are. No one knows we've done that. I mean, so we've got all that stuff, you know, we spend a lot of money on all that stuff and we keep it in the, you know, staff files. And again, if any one of our elected officials are gonna be reappointed in terms of the controversy with the park district, they better get out and start talking about the positive things that they have done and contributed to, that as a result of being able to have the paid parking, because you don't have signage, okay, and you don't have streetscapes, and you have all the things that Andrew just talked about. Who wants to come here? I mean, if you're a t-shirt shop, there's a great place for you, because we have a collective t-shirt shop. But again, getting quality merchants, we don't, excuse me, the special place on the lake is not so special, go look at it. And if you expect to improve the clientele and improve the tax base, improve your merchants, you better get going on this stuff and you better not hide it under the basket. We're way behind in terms of talking about, it's not about parking. It's about not dying. We're dying.
Yeah.
Okay? By instituting parking, we might be able to do these other things to create the destination that Andrew just pointed out and actually get someone to come here and last longer.
Sure.
So again, I think, and Tom, exactly what you said is why these folks are here. They copied me on the letter from the church that sat there and said, deny it. And I sat there and said, let's go get letters from everyone. And I think everyone is part of any process that's going through the downtown development area, the D district. Anyone in the D district should come here to us first before they file any zoning variation, any rezoning,
yeah.
any site plan.
Yeah.
Because should come to us because again, the direction they're getting through our process, the St. No process, would be helped if they got a St. Yes process from the DDA.
Yeah.
So I'm totally on board with what you're saying, Tom. It's an element that's needed to invigorate the kinds of things that aren't being done now.
So, you know, we're short a number of people today, unfortunately. So, but I think setting up this group would be good. And I'd be happy to orchestrate an initial meeting with Cornerstone and Emily, someone, yourself or someone from St. Paul.
I think
Please,
Sue should
Paul.
be on the
Yeah,
committee.
more the merrier.
Yeah, you want it?
So,
Good.
I guess, you know, maybe who would like to participate in this? I mean, I certainly would, but I'm happy to give up my spot to whoever, but
I got 4.
yeah,
So
I mean, I'm happy to sit on it.
Yeah.
I think Paul should be on it.
yeah, for sure.
I don't think he counts as a DDA
No,
member
no, he
because
doesn't.
No, we
right.
can have whoever, right?
Chris, you would jump in on this, huh?
Yes, as
Well-
as a property owner.
Yeah, all right.
Wonderful.
Cool.
So Chris and Deb.
1, 2, 3,
3, 4.
4, 5.
Yeah, well, and Cornerstone. So our members would be Chris, Deb, Tom, and Sue. How about that?
Do we need a
Tammy, we're
motion?
not trying to exclude you.
No, that's okay. I was gonna say though, at Krasel Art Center on a regular basis, we get people that come in our door and say, I'm thinking about moving to St. Joseph. I'm so glad to see there's an art center here. This helps me make my decision, right?
Absolutely.
So, if these conversations you're having with business owners, I don't know if you're gonna be having them face to face, but I would just like to offer our space as a place to gather or
Ah,
to
yeah.
give
Thank you.
tours
Oh,
to
yeah.
people as they're considering
We-
the area.
We are,
The Krazel.
you know, we all travel around, go to a lot of different communities. We're beyond fortunate to have your facility here. It's a real, to me, it's a very unique thing that we have that many other communities don't have anything remotely like that. So we're very fortunate. We appreciate you offering to support the effort. That's great. All right, very good. So
Did we need a motion for that?
do
or
we
is it
need
just-
you need a motion for
to
such?
form a sub, I don't
I
think
guess
so.
It's a formal subgroup, it wouldn't hurt, but I think.
Yeah.
more people together, we don't
All
need
right.
much.
All right, so I will,
So that's up to you guys.
I will attempt to pull that together maybe in, I don't know, next few weeks or so, or prior to our next meeting. I'm traveling a bit, but we will make something happen. Great, thank you. That's great.
I
Okay,
have a question
please.
under downtown promotion.
Please.
Who on the city staff is responsible for the marketing piece? Is there a marketing person?
Yes.
Okay.
So, we hired, Caitlin Griffith,
Mhm.
right after I became city manager. She started like in November.
Okay, yeah.
She's doing all of our comms and special projects. She will work very closely with Kelly on that. She is, great news for her and less great news for us on.
Pregnancy leave.
maternity
Oh,
leave.
The maternity leave.
Okay.
Because a baby in Lincoln, it was
Okay.
darling. So when she gets
Yeah.
back, her time, certainly her last couple of months were really good.
Yeah, sure.
And she did some
Okay.
terrific work, by the way, in the whole parking
So
thing. Yeah.
the reason I ask is, I'm on social media a lot for my job
Yeah.
and personally. And I had thought about this like a week ago. It was specifically after that very negative city commission meeting, is that there are all of the positivity, and you spoke about positive things, Chris, are just being buried by the people who are just so angry about paid parking. And first of all, social media wise, I'd love to see the city create a hashtag, like I'm trying to talk a lot about in my posts, both in our business posts downtown, about positivity. Saturday, it was just a beautiful day with our Blossom Youth Parade right down State Street. Parents following the kids, it was just lovely. And so, but could she create like a hashtag that we could hopefully get everybody behind to start doing some of those, like pretty pictures or stuff going on at the Krazel, stuff that goes on at the library, and just, and with a hashtag, which if you're not familiar with hashtags, it draws attention to a certain topic on social media, but something like, hashtag I love St. Joe or whatever it is, but somehow I feel like we could be a little more proactive. And as Chris had said, let's start talking about some of these positive things. Not everyone will agree it's a positive thing. I totally get that. I had a conversation with somebody about just cleaning up and sprucing up. And this particular person didn't think it would make any difference, but that's their opinion. And I respect that. But from my standpoint, I don't know any different than to just be positive about what's going on here. And I think we need to just
Amp it up.
amp it up and,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's almost like with all that paid parking noise, in my personal opinion, you're almost like daring customers to come down. And I want to go the other way and really highlight, like, why wouldn't you come downtown? So,
it's been the most shocking thing to me that business owners are actively engaging with their customers on a daily basis, in
Negatively.
person
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah.
on social media, saying to their customers about paid parking.
Yeah, like, don't
This
come
is
here.
terrible.
Yeah,
This
it's
town
very-
sucks. Don't ever come here.
Yeah.
I can't,
It's hard to
I
even,
cannot envision
hard to even
a
imagine.
worst marketing like, I
well,
can't wrap my
yeah.
brain around.
It's a
how as a
business strategy
owner,
that is,
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of
stunning me,
sense.
But I
It's so
think,
self-defeating.
I don't know any other
don't-
way
No, I
to
think it's
counteract
good
other
point.
than to throw the
What-
positivity out there.
What's Kayla's timetable?
Exactly, no.
Okay, I hope she's okay. I mean, everything's all right, yeah.
Yeah, she did a fabulous. She has designed a fabulous campaign that I think is what.
Mhm.
It is something along the lines of, what do you love about St. Joe?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
With fantastic images of St.
There you go. Yep,
And,
perfect.
I got 10 of them
Mhm.
in the queue, that I think we can start to roll out. We also have a separate campaign that we're gonna start to roll out around our new downtown parking program, so you'll see that soon. It's not quite as inspiring,
Sure.
as
Yeah.
the other one.
Sure.
But I think we can work on getting.
Wonderful. Great.
Yeah, I
That's
think she
awesome.
would,
We can also build on it. I have been trying to come up with a hashtag. I spoke with our parking consultant, that there was a community that did around parking, just,
Oh,
parking is really
mhm.
not that hard.
Yeah.
And I thought, hashtag, great. And I spent much of the weekend trying to think of a
Ah,
hashtag.
well, then
I
we're
got
on the
nothing.
same
So if
page.
anyone comes up with something.
Okay.
let me
Yeah.
know.
all right. Great. I think that would be a great thing. and,
It ain't that hard.
fitting with our mission. All right, let's see here. Monthly reports. What
Don't
do
put
we
me in
got?
charge of the hashtag.
We got the usual initiative tracker. Kelly, anything there you want to highlight for us?
No, I just kind of updated it with some of the
Yep.
parking,
Yep.
moving forward.
Yep. We
Public
talked about.
Works is, we've got, Blossom Time, parade, something next Saturday. So they're really ramping up, getting downtown.
Parade, yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Right, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure is.
It sure is.
The 10th.
Does it go down Main Street or?
Yeah.
It goes on Main
Oh,
Street,
yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's
yeah.
great.
Into Benton
It's-
Harbor.
It draws
It's quite the
tens
event.
of thousands of people. It's
Yeah, yeah,
wonderful.
yeah,
But then the pedestrian refuge island will go in right after
After,
that. so.
Oh, wow, great.
You
And
can't
then-
ask the marching bands to do
I
a
know.
split.
Yeah,
That'll-
right,
no.
right.
And then I was like, oh.
Marching bands.
Yeah.
It's enough
might-
they have to navigate the turn on the ship.
After they
Wow.
redo the
Yeah.
street, it might be a little more
Yeah.
I thought it was
challenging.
for that motorcycle guy that.
Oh, yeah.
stands
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
That's true, yeah.
yeah.
All right, very good.
I apologize, this one did not format right again.
The
so.
schedule there, we got
Yeah, there's
that.
just a couple things, Tim, like I said, Tim emailed me, Pleasant Street, resurfacing has been moved to after Labor Day. The Water Street retaining wall will be spring or fall of 2026,
Well,
so.
That's the road that goes down to the beach. That's water,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, they gotta
so,
rebuild that whole.
Couple
Oh my
later
God.
updates on
it's
that one.
really
Wow,
risky.
that's a project and a half, that Water Street thing.
So the,
Risk of failure and consequence of failure would be high for that project.
I would think so. Yeah, that's right.
I learned those terms from asset management.
That's right.
Nice year.
When is the fountain supposed to get done? Down by Whirlpool?
Imminently. There were
Okay.
some things that, was delayed in delivery,
Mm.
so they're working quickly, they expect.
That looks cool, actually, the
on by
fountain.
Memorial Day.
You know,
Oh,
little
okay.
building, that's cool.
People
And they
hang out
put
there
these
all day.
little umbrella things up. That's
Be cool.
kind of cool, different sidewalk.
Yeah.
And they, it's curious. So they loaded, they closed that whole sidewalk thing. Now, this is interesting. So are we gonna go with the two, they are one way. Very interesting.
That sand is part of it, because, we want pedestrians to stay on the north
North side.
sidewalk.
So for me, if I want to go pick up a pizza, I'm gonna have to go all the way around. Is that what you're saying?
Mm.
You could walk down.
I'm crushed. No, it's all right. I'll get over it. I'll get over it. So it's gonna be one way, two lanes going in.
Yep, one will turn left, one will go straight into
Right, cool. Yeah, cool. All right. Okay, speaking of promotional retail activity, packet page 26. Anything updates there? Ooh, the gelato shop. I saw the equipment in there. When is that, Deb? When's that might happen?
Well, everything takes longer than it's supposed to, because she was hoping
Of
for
course.
Memorial Day. I
course.
think she's hoping to be open by definitely the end of June, but maybe mid-June.
Okay, all right.
He's building a lot of it off-site and bringing the
Bringing it
pieces
in.
parts in.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So
So excited.
That's very cool. Yep,
it's taking a minute.
yep.
I was just gonna say, I know there's a lot of negativity around some of our changes in the downtown, but we have 5 new businesses.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
And I just couldn't be more excited. I think those are 5 new businesses coming in, knowing about our downtown parking program, and still excited to come be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we actually have a second business going into the market too, called The Kitchen.
Where is that gonna go in the corner
It's in the
there?
back corner where
Corner.
Noru was.
Yeah.
Yay.
French
Yeah.
fry place?
It is partially that, yes.
What is it? It'll be like a restaurant?
It's
kind
like
of
a
thing?
Belgian frites French fry place. But the overall goal is to have a kitchen that food trucks or other pop-ups
Ah,
can come
use.
rent.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
maybe there's dumplings on Saturday night.
Oh,
or
I like
what-
that.
So the overall goal is that a variety of different
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
restaurants.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like an incubator kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool,
Love it.
cool.
Don't you think that'd be a good place to kind of maybe close off the street and have a plaza? And
Food
market
truck and-
the activities that are
trucks.
making that a place and a destination
Who-
to go to, particularly since we've set up the.
Who'da
the islands
thunk,
in the
right,
street,
yeah, right.
the Parking close by. Would be a
I'm-
good
I'm-
place to kind of pioneer State Street.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Has anybody been to, I haven't been to Brookies yet.
That's the goal.
Oh my gosh, I had breakfast there Saturday.
Good?
Amazing.
Okay, all right, I have to get to Brookies,
Very,
sorry.
very
I
good.
have not, I've been delinquent.
I think it's full of crepe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Full of
I do
great.
not, I don't think you should ever have a poop wrap.
Oh, it's a crepe plate? Is that?
I know.
We're in a food place.
Have you
Where is
tried
that
this?
gonna be?
Have you tried this? What do you-
It's so weird to
Don't
It's
you-
see.
the old, it's the old
Um,
candy.
Sweet Haven next.
Sweet Haven, yep.
All right.
Slackers, is going in.
Yeah,
kind of
I saw that.
around, the new med spa at Broad and
A
State.
card,
They're gonna-
card shop,
They're gonna have
right?
a card shop with like,
Card shop.
like, I don't know, it's not my thing, but like Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons and that.
Oh,
kind of
wow.
like magic
Wow.
that kind of stuff. And then
Sure, there's a
downstairs-
whole group of people
Right.
that love that.
Yeah, and then downstairs is gonna be like a laser tag, and I talked to the owners the other
Oh,
day.
wow.
Cool.
So that's,
Escape rooms.
yeah, escape room, so it's gonna,
escape room's coming.
it's gonna be kind
Oh,
of cool to have
wow.
something like that downtown for the, you know.
My sons get into this cards, this magic card
Oh,
thing, and they're old, I mean, they're like, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah,
What's up?
why not?
Downtown arcade.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yep.
Well,
So, yeah, it's exciting to
When are
see.
they, when is that?
I wanna, yeah,
Hopefully soon.
hopefully soon.
Yeah, very cool.
So, yeah, that's exciting, so.
212 has,
Basement.
somebody renting, I.
All right, let's see, then we have, the RRC street development ready. How close are we to that, whole thing?
We are 100% stalled, and I.
100% stuff.
We are 100% what?
What happened?
Stalled, oh.
That's hilarious.
We don't have time.
Yeah, just, right.
We have made.
I thought though,
Keep it going, keep it.
yeah, I thought we had submitted all this stuff and they're just looking through all of it, right?
They have asked us for some revisions.
Ah, right,
and
right,
I
some
have
revisions.
not.
Okay, I got, okay,
So
that's
it's-
cool.
The ball is in our court.
We got it. No problem. No problem. Well, that kind of fits in with this other discussion, right? The whole development and promotional and all this stuff. So the timing, I think, will be good. It's good. Paul, what about on your end? Oh, yeah,
Like the tip thing, did that go formally off our?
No,
no,
it's coming, so I met with the WITCOM, I sent.
we're
letters
trying to get
staff
enough
around.
people to be on the,
Well, and
Or-
I think I am like 1 or 2 short, but again,
Okay.
parking, it's,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Okay, I
I mean,
just
my
wasn't
part is
sure.
happening, yeah,
Yeah.
I apologize that I did not update you on that, but yes, I have been actively trying to recruit people for that advisory.
it's a little
group,
tricky,
and then-
yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't make people do it, But I think we can get there, and if not, I'm gonna see what we do if we just can't get 9 people. I mean, what do
Yeah.
you do in that case?
Yeah, what if you got 7, right? I
It's-
mean, you know,
It's in the works,
Yeah.
so.
okay, all right. Paul, anything on your end? that we-
I don't have a ton, different since my April update. The big thing is, May 7th is the deadline for Creative Landscaping planters that they are offering to put in front of downtown businesses. They have reduced a price that is really, really fair for seasonal planters that they will maintain and water themselves and deadhead and make sure they look really, really nice. So those are priced at $500 a season. That information's in your email, I just sent it off.
Have they gotten a decent response, do you know?
I was hoping to have a better response. We've had
Yeah.
about eight planters ordered
Okay.
at this point, 2 of
Alright.
which are St. Joe today. But it's something that downtown businesses have asked for, and so it's an
ordering.
opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
To just kind of unify some of the unification outside of what the city's already doing.
Okay,
And then as you may have heard, the St. Joe Today is taking over the Lighthouse Tours.
Yep.
I'd like to
Love that.
formally invite each of you to join us on it for a preview night out at the Lighthouse on May
Really?
21st.
Oh,
So-
how nice.
kind of an open house from 5 to 7. Just come out and get
it's cool.
a tour of the lighthouse and engage with other
Wow,
folks
that's
down there.
nice.
So it's
Thank
invite
you.
only.
Cool.
All right.
Let me pass the invitation and forward it.
It's very cool, the lighthouse. I've been through it. It's
I
very
did
cool.
it when they did the dedication.
Yeah, yeah,
I was finishing
I've
up.
never been all the way.
Oh, you
down.
gotta go all the way
It's
up,
so
yeah.
It's cool. Danny and I went out there the other day.
It's so
that's
cool.
the first time I've
Yeah,
been out there.
yeah. I was there too on when they dedicated. It was quite cool. That's great. That's a nice thing for you guys to take on. That's
And
great.
then we've got 3 events starting this month. We've got the Memorial Day Parade, obviously Friday, Memorial Day weekend. The Farmers Market starts the following Saturday, and then the Artisan Fair is the last day, May 31st.
I noticed that this weekend we had the antiques
I
there,
had
right?
antiques yesterday. Yeah.
Now every first of the month up.
It went
Cold.
great. I mean,
Well,
the weather was.
Cold.
I was gonna say around 2.
But at least it- At least
Oh
it
my
didn't
God, it
rain
was cold.
until later.
Yeah.
but
It was
It
cold.
was nice.
Yeah,
I walked
it
through
was
it.
cold.
Yeah, it's just cold.
Nothing scares away antiques like wind and rain.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that'll do
About
it.
16 no-shows or call-offs.
Yeah,
So we
yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
24 of our 40 vendors yesterday, but
Still pretty good.
hopefully by the time June comes around.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a better.
Well, that's a weather dependent event, isn't it?
Yeah, I was at work and was gonna go, and and I'm like, what are they, like, cause everyone was hustling to get their car, and like literally 2 minutes later, it started pouring.
Went to hell, yeah.
Yeah, and it came down hard, so.
All good stuff.
Hey,
Yep.
Paul, on the flower project, is that only for members of St. Joe Today?
No, anybody.
Because I'm wondering if, like, we're ordering, but I always have to go back to my email from you, but I'm wondering if a lot of them just don't, if they don't
They
read
aren't
their,
seeing it, yeah. That could be it too. Carly's gone door to door. We sent
Oh,
a bunch of emails, so we
Okay.
tried to make a push.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if just the extra cost in this.
I
think-
Tumultuous season might
Sure,
be the barrier.
sure.
You know, if we were
Could
doing this
be.
last year, we had more folks sign up, so.
Yep.
Hopefully they'll offer it again in the fall. You know, with the $500 a season for 3 seasons a year for your planters to be maintained.
plus you get a 10%, if you order all 3 seasons, they give you a 10% discount, which is
Right.
nice.
So.
Okay, I
Cool.
just wondered, but maybe once people see how nice they are, they'll jump on for
Yeah,
next time.
And that's kind of a bummer is that there is a deadline because
bet.
creative needs to know for their
Well, yeah.
stock, like what they need in the
Yeah.
flowers. that they
Sure.
order. So hopefully it'll be a great momentum.
All right, so we'll move on here. We're about out of time here. Public comments? Not all at once, please. Any comments from our board? Any final thoughts? Good discussion today. I appreciate it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So move. Second? In favor? Aye. All right. 9:59.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good work, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate
Happy
it.
Monday.
Yeah.
Stamps.
Okay. Your office?
My
Next one?
office,
Our
yep.
office. Next event.
Meeting on meetings on meetings.
Good job.
I am.